If you're interested in testing your App Inventor apps outside of class and you don't have an Android device, App Inventor does have a solution for you so that you can test your apps, and it's called an emulator. It is not built into the program. It's available under the Connect tool, but until you install a second piece of software, you won't be able to use it. I have sent everybody a message that has a link to the page with the instructions and the download area for this app, and it looks like this. It goes step by step on how to use it, from installation through troubleshooting if necessary. So I am going to go to the Windows installation page. There's also a Mac installation page, and download the installer. As it tells you here, it's about an 80 meg download, so it takes a little bit of time, but I'm done my download. If you're using Chrome, usually downloads will show up down here in the bottom of the browser. Otherwise, go find where the download was saved. Click on it and open it up to install it. Let it make any changes to your computer. Next, agree. I install most of my apps for anyone who's on it. I don't put desktop icons, but you certainly can do that. I like to use the start menu. I'm going to use the default installation location, and I will have a start menu folder. So the installation is complete. There's an option to start the emulator app upon finishing the installation. I'm going to uncheck that and just finish to show you. Open it from App Inventor. So I've installed this. You can read all of the instructions here, but I am pretty stubborn. I'm just going to go and brute force it and see what happens. So I go back to the cloud version of App Inventor where all my projects are living. I opened up one of my apps. I'm going to go up to Connect, and instead of picking AI Companion like we do in the classroom, I will pick Emulator and see what happens. You will see many messages about it starting, and you'll see that if you don't open the AI Starter program, you'll get an error. So mine is in the Start menu. I go down to MIT App Inventor Tools and find this AI Starter program. It's now running in the background. It opens up a command window and just waits for you to send it information. So you can't close that window or the emulator won't work. But now that my AI Starter window is up, I can now connect to the emulator and shouldn't receive that same error. You need to be patient. It's going to take some time. And this first time using it, there's a pretty good likelihood that I'm going to have to run an update for it. If this screen here, if this window doesn't pop up, you can find it on this icon on the taskbar. It's going to take a little while, so I will mute things until we're ready to go. As the emulator starts up, here's one of the screens you'll see, and it's just going to keep cycling through. It's waiting for it to run. It takes a long time to run, and you will see several screen images on the emulator rotate in and out. So after several screens changing and going black and coming back up, I got this message saying that my version of AI Starter is out of date. So I'm going to click OK to update. But this last message is important. It says you have to watch the screen because the interactivity of installing this application is going to happen on this emulator. So I click OK. Update's being installed. Make sure you choose Done. Don't click Open. So be sure to read these directions. So I'm going to make sure that my... Oh, there's an error. Excellent. So I'm going to press the power button on here and see if I can try to open it back up. And again, it may take some patience on your part. So I'm not getting any success, so I'm going to close the emulator. I am going to close my AI2 starter and try to reopen it and see if I have any more success. So again, before the emulator runs, we have to go look for this MIT App Inventor Tools folder on the Start menu. Open up AI Starter. This command window opens up and waits to run in the background. I'll go up to connect and I'm going to restart the emulator again. And you may have to do this several times. You have to go through several iterations of starting and stopping the emulator and updating before it finally works. So I waited a little bit and I got an error saying that my AI starter program wasn't running. It is running, so I'm going to hit Control C as it's suggested in here, shut it down, and I'm going to start it again. It definitely takes patience. And after seeing all this, you can appreciate that some of the teachers I know that are teaching this course are using the emulators in their classroom. So we should all feel pretty fortunate to have so many tablets for use in our classroom. So AI Starter Companion is running. I'm going to come back up and try to open the emulator again. This time it opened up. It's going to take a while to go through. I received the same error message I got before now about needing to update, so I'll click OK to update this time. Click on Got It. And make sure that my emulator is on top. So it's asking, do I want to replace this application? Yes, I do. And perhaps I just found out that I should have clicked the Got It button before and I could have avoided some of this, but live and learn. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to replace the emulator. Go ahead and click Install, and everything will run here on the emulator itself. And this time I had success. I got the message application installed. I'm going to click Done, as suggested by the window. And I'll open up AI2 Companion and see if this loads my app. Sometimes I'm lucky, sometimes I'm not, but we'll see here in a second if it brings up the blocks. So far so good. This is the screen we'd like to see. And just because you don't see activity in this emulator window does not mean it's not working. Sometimes it just takes time. So the emulator did not load my app. I pressed the power button down here and got this screen. And I'm going to find that, click some of these, clicked on menu. And let's stop this application. And let's open it back up and see if that loads my app. And it is not loading my app, so I'm going to click Emulator, and I'm going to try to connect to it again, making sure that I still have this open in the background, the AI Starter window. So Android's open up again on my emulator. I'll let it load and come back in a second. So the emulator is still going through some startup stuff, but I think we're going to have some success this time. Seen some different things. It's going to a white screen, which is a good sign. And all it was a matter of was restarting and being patient. Sure enough, my app is up. So now, if you recall this app from class, when I click on the button, it shows me the red intensity of the color. There's no intensity, so there's absence of color. I get a black button. As I click it, now the color intensity goes to 20. Keep clicking and you can start to see it's becoming a little more red as the intensity is now at about 100 for red. And I will keep clicking, and once I get to 240 it'll stop, but that's pretty red. So it took some patience, it took some stubbornness, but ultimately after restarting and updating and closing and restarting, the emulator does work. So it's worth it, I think, in that you can download this all for free. There's no need to go buy an Android device, and you can test your apps at home. So good luck. If something goes wrong, don't panic. But I would recommend some patience, and it will ultimately work. Enjoy.